A reading from John's Gospel. Pilate took Jesus and had him flogged, and the soldiers wove a crown of thorns and put it on his head, and they dressed him in a purple robe. They kept coming to him, saying, "Hail, King of the Jews," and striking him in the face. Pilate went out again and said to the crowd, "Look, I'm bringing him out to you, to let you know that I find no case against him." Jesus came out wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe. And Pilate said to them all, "Here is the man." When the chief priests and the police saw him, they shouted, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" Pilate said to them, "Take him yourselves and crucify him, for I find no case against him." The Jews answered him, "We have a law, and according to that law he ought to die, because he's claimed to be the Son of God." Now when Pilate heard this, he was more afraid than ever. He entered his headquarters again and asked Jesus, "Where are you from?" But Jesus gave him no answer. Pilate said to him, "Do you refuse to speak to me? Don't you know that I have the power to release you and the power to crucify you?" But Jesus answered him, "You would have no power over me unless it had been given to you from above. Therefore the one who handed me over to you is guilty of a greater sin." From then on, Pilate tried to release him, but the Jews cried out, "If you release this man, you're no friend of the emperor. Everyone who claims to be a king sets himself against the emperor." When Pilate heard these words, he brought Jesus outside and sat on the judge's bench. Now it was the day of preparation for the Passover, and it was about noon. Pilate said to the Jews, "Here is your king." But they cried out, "Away with him! Away with him! Crucify him!" Pilate asked them, "Shall I crucify your king?" The chief priests answered, "We have no king but the emperor." And so Pilate handed him over to them to be crucified.
Oh, I don't know how much more I can watch. "Behold the man," that's what Pilate said. "Behold the man." What has he done to him? Because he doesn't look like the man that I know, the one that I have followed, the one we've all followed, the one who walked into my house and told me to keep believing. And then I saw him bring my brother back to life. It all seems so long ago now. Look at his face now and I don't recognise him. Those eyes, they used to blaze with such intensity they could look right into the very depths of my being with a love. Now all I see is sadness and pain. The look of a man carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. The look of a man who knows he's about to die. Look at his hands, those hands that he used to bring my brother back to life. I saw those hands break bread and feed a whole crowd of people. I saw those hands touch lepers and make them clean. Now look at them, bloodied and beaten. No good for anything at all. I can hear those words of Pilate, behold the man, ringing in my head. Is this some kind of a sick joke? Is Pilate gloating, surrounded by his soldiers, high on the power of Rome? Does he not realise this man who he mocks did more good in one day than he has ever done in his life? This man brought God alive to us, made him real to us in such a way the priests could never, ever do. That in this man I knew that this is the one we followed. Behold the man. Well, Pontius Pilate, why don't you behold the man, the greatest man who ever lived, the one who brought hope, the one who brings life and peace, who made us want to live a better life. That's the man you're about to nail to a cross. Yeah, I just don't recognise him anymore. I can't see him through all that bruising, the marks of the whip, the swollen face, the crown of thorns rammed on his head, biting into his skull. My Jesus. Oh, my Jesus. Where's our hope now? It just feels so dark. I keep wanting someone to wake me up, to tell me that the last 12 hours have just all been part of some hideous nightmare. And when I open my eyes again, we will be back in Galilee, in the hills with Jesus, laughing, eating, talking. The wake-up never comes. And instead, I just hear the noise of the crowd, baying for his blood, the mocking of the priests, the screams of pain, the soldiers spitting and punching him, the crack of that whip. And then they release a murderer in his place. I don't know what's going on. Feels like there's no hope now. It's all gone. Where is God in all of this? Oh, the priests will say they represent God. But they represent a God I don't know. For how could God allow this to happen to Jesus, this incredible man? What reason could he possibly have to turn his back on the one who revealed God to the rest of us? It doesn't make sense. What kind of a God would do this? What gain could there possibly be? Jesus spoke of a God of love. Well, is this love? Tell me, how does this ever look like love? Jesus brought hope. And now God is just silent. Where's our hope now?